you ever wondered why your internet sometimes moves faster than a cheetah on energy drinks, while other times it crawls slower than a sloth having an existential crisis? Well, the answer isn't some cosmic conspiracy against your Netflix binge sessions. Instead, there's actually a fascinating world of internet speeds that most people know absolutely nothing about, and understanding these different types could completely change how you experience the digital world. So, in this video, I'm going to reveal the hidden truth about internet speeds that internet service providers definitely don't want you to know. We'll explore the wild spectrum from dial-up connections that make you question your life choices, all the way to fiber optic speeds so fast they practically bend the laws of physics. What I'm going to do is walk you through each type of connection, explain how they actually work, and show you why some people are still living in the digital stone age, while others are surfing the information superhighway like they own it. But first, let me give you an example so you know this information actually matters. Just last week, my neighbor was complaining that his video calls kept freezing during important work meetings. He was convinced his computer was broken and was about to spend hundreds of dollars on a new laptop. Turns out he was still using the same internet connection he had installed 15 years ago. After upgrading his internet speed, his problems vanished completely, and he went from looking like a pixelated mess on Zoom to crystal clear high definition. The point is, understanding internet speeds isn't just technical mumbo-jumbo. It's practical knowledge that can save you money, boost your productivity, and prevent you from throwing your router out the window in frustration. My name is your internet speed expert, and I've spent years researching and testing different connection types. I've experienced everything from the painful agony of waiting 3 hours to download a single song, to the absolute bliss of streaming 8 different shows simultaneously without a single buffer. These are the insights I've gathered from countless hours of testing, research, and yes, occasionally screaming at my modem. Now, before we dive into the technical details, you need to understand that not all internet speeds are created equal. There's download speed, upload speed, latency, and something called bandwidth that most people confuse with actual speed. Plus, what your internet service provider promises you and what you actually get can be as different as ordering a gourmet burger and receiving a sad piece of lettuce between 2 crackers. Let's start with the grandfather of all internet connections, dial-up. Yes, dial-up still exists, and approximately 3 million Americans are still using it in the year 2024. That's like choosing to travel by horse and buggy when everyone else is driving sports cars. Dial-up operates at a blazing 56 kilobits per second, which means downloading a single 3-minute song takes about 15 minutes. Watching a YouTube video on dial-up is basically like watching paint dry, except the paint is moving in slow motion and occasionally stops completely. The sound of dial-up connecting is something that haunts the dreams of anyone who lived through the 90s. That screeching, beeping, static-filled symphony was basically your computer having a full nervous breakdown while trying to connect to the internet. And heaven forbid someone needed to use the phone while you were online. That was a household crisis that could tear families apart faster than arguing over the television remote. But here's the thing about dial-up that's actually fascinating. It uses your existing phone line to transmit data, which means it's available literally anywhere that has a phone connection. That's why some people in extremely rural areas still rely on it. It's not that they enjoy digital torture, it's just their only option for getting online. Moving up the speed ladder, we encounter DSL, which stands for Digital Subscriber Line. DSL was like dial-up's cooler older brother who went to college and came back with better fashion sense and actual life skills. DSL can deliver speeds anywhere from 1 megabit per second to 100 megabits per second, depending on how close you live to the telephone company's central office. The weird thing about DSL is that it's basically a lottery based on geography. If you live close to the central office, you hit the jackpot with decent speeds. If you live far away, you get the consolation prize of speeds barely faster than dial-up. It's like internet roulette, except the house always wins and you're stuck with whatever connection fate decides to give you. DSL also has this quirky personality where the upload speed is always significantly slower than the download speed. So, while you might be able to download a movie in a reasonable amount of time, uploading a single photo to social media feels like trying to push a bowling ball through a drinking straw. Then we have cable internet, which decided to crash the party by using the same coaxial cables that bring you hundreds of television channels you never watch. Cable internet can deliver impressive speeds, often ranging from 25 megabits per second to over 1,000 megabits per second. That's fast enough to download an entire season of your favorite show while simultaneously video chatting with friends and streaming music in the background. But cable internet has a dirty little secret. It's what's called a shared connection, which means you're essentially sharing bandwidth with your entire neighborhood. During peak hours when everyone gets home from work and starts streaming Netflix, your lightning fast connection can suddenly feel like it's moving through molasses. It's like trying to drive on the highway during rush hour, except the highway is your internet connection, and everyone in your neighborhood is also trying to binge watch the latest viral series. The comedy of cable internet is that it works amazingly well at 3 in the morning when normal people are sleeping, but slows to a crawl at 8 in the evening when everyone wants to use it. It's basically the internet equivalent of a restaurant that serves incredible food, but only when nobody wants to eat there. Satellite internet represents humanity's ambitious attempt to beam internet signals from space directly to your home. It's like something out of a science fiction movie, except instead of fighting aliens, you're fighting latency issues and data caps that make you ration your internet usage like you're surviving a digital apocalypse. Ipsy. The fascinating thing about satellite internet is that your data literally travels 22,000 miles up to a satellite in space, then 22,000 miles back down to reach a website server that might be located just 50 miles from your house. It's like asking your neighbor for a cup of sugar by first mailing a letter to the International Space Station. The physics of this process means you'll experience latency that makes online gaming feel like you're playing through a time machine where your character responds to commands you gave them sometime last Tuesday. Satellite internet providers love to advertise their coverage maps, showing they can reach virtually anywhere on Earth, which is technically true. But what they don't mention is that your connection quality depends heavily on weather conditions. A light drizzle can slow your internet to a crawl, while a thunderstorm essentially transforms your high-tech satellite dish into an expensive lawn ornament that occasionally picks up alien radio signals instead of your email. The data caps on satellite internet plans are particularly cruel. Most providers give you a monthly allowance that disappears faster than free pizza at a college dorm. Once you hit that limit, your speeds get throttled down to something that makes dial-up look speedy. It's like having a sports car that turns into a tricycle after you drive it for 50 miles each month. Now we reach the crown jewel of internet connections, fiber optic internet, which is basically the superhero of the connectivity world. Fiber uses thin strands of glass to transmit data using pulses of light, which sounds like something a wizard would invent if wizards understood modern telecommunications. These glass fibers are thinner than human hair, but can carry information at speeds approaching the speed of light itself. Fiber optic internet can deliver symmetrical speeds, meaning your upload speed matches your download speed. This is revolutionary because most other connection types treat uploading like an afterthought, giving you blazing download speeds but upload speeds that make sharing a single photo feel like a monumental achievement. With fiber, you can upload a 4-hour video to the internet in the same amount of time it takes to download one. The speeds available with fiber are almost comically fast. We're talking about gigabit connections that can download an entire high-definition movie in under 30 seconds. At these speeds, the bottleneck isn't your internet connection. It's actually the processing power of your devices trying to keep up with the data flowing through them. It's like trying to drink from a fire hose, except the fire hose is made of pure digital magic and never stops flowing. But here's where fiber gets interesting from a practical standpoint. Most people using gigabit fiber connections are essentially driving Formula One race cars in school zones. The vast majority of online activities simply don't require speeds that fast. Streaming Netflix in 4K resolution only needs about 25 megabits per second, which means a gigabit connection could theoretically handle 40 simultaneous Netflix streams without breaking a sweat. The real advantage of fiber isn't just the raw speed, it's the consistency and reliability. Unlike cable internet that shares bandwidth with your neighbors, fiber connections are dedicated lines that maintain their speed regardless of what time of day you use them. It's like having your own personal highway that never experiences traffic jams, construction delays, or random roadblocks caused by neighborhood Netflix marathons. Fixed wireless internet represents an interesting middle ground that uses radio towers to beam internet signals directly to antennas installed on your property. It's like having a really sophisticated walkie-talkie conversation with the internet. Except instead of saying over and out, you're downloading cat videos and arguing with strangers on social media platforms. The performance of fixed wireless depends heavily on having a clear line of sight between your antenna and the radio tower. A single tree growing in the wrong spot can transform your reliable internet connection into an expensive paperweight. It's like trying to have a conversation across a crowded room, except the crowd consists of leaves, branches, and the occasional confused bird that mistakes your antenna for a very high-tech bird feeder. Weather affects fixed wireless in ways that would make satellite internet users nod in sympathetic understanding. Heavy rain can scatter the radio signals, causing your connection to become unreliable just when you need it most. Snow accumulation on your antenna creates its own special brand of internet frustration, where you find yourself outside with a ladder and a broom, essentially performing internet maintenance like you're tending to a very needy digital pet. The newest player in the internet speed game is 5G cellular internet, which promises to deliver fiber-like speeds through cellular towers. 5G technology is so new that most people aren't even sure how to pronounce it correctly, and cellular companies are still figuring out how to make it work consistently without draining your phone battery faster than a teenager drains the refrigerator after school. 5G internet speeds can theoretically reach several gigabits per second, which sounds impressive until you realize that actual real-world performance varies wildly based on your distance from towers, network congestion, and what appears to be the current phase of the moon. It's like having a sports car that performs differently depending on what color shirt you're wearing and whether you remembered to feed your pets that morning. The coverage maps for 5G networks currently look like someone threw digital confetti at a map and called it a day. Dense urban areas might have excellent coverage, while rural locations remain in a 5G desert where the fastest connection available is still whatever your carrier was offering 5 years ago. So there you have it, the complete spectrum of internet speeds. But here's the real secret that internet service providers don't want you to know. Knowledge is power, and now that you understand the differences between these connection types, you can make informed decisions instead of falling for marketing tricks and flashy advertisements. You'll know when a sales representative is trying to sell you premium speeds for basic internet activities, and you'll understand why your connection might be acting up during certain times of the day. Remember, whether you're stuck with dial-up in the middle of nowhere or enjoying fiber optic speeds that make your neighbors weep with envy, the internet is ultimately just a tool. The real magic happens when you use that connection to learn something new, connect with people you care about, or create something amazing that makes the world a little bit better. Now stop reading this and go test your actual internet speed. You might be surprised by what you discover about your own digital highway.